Hi, EFT friends. We are so happy to be back with another Why EFT episode in our LACEFT YouTube series. And we're just so excited that we get to meet more EFT therapists and find out why they've chosen emotionally focused therapy. And my name is Christy Crownover, and I'm so happy to be here today with Dr. Miriam Dalili. Hi, Miriam.
Hi, Christy. So glad to see you again. We are so happy to bring different wonderful EFT therapists. And today we have Dr. Diana Weiss-Wisdom. Welcome, Diana.
Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Christy. It's so good to see you both.
Same here. Dr. Diana Weiss-Wisdom has been a licensed psychologist over 29 years. She's a certified EFT therapist and specializes in working with couples, step-parents, families, and treating trauma. She's the author of 2 books, Wisdom on Step-Parenting, How to Succeed Where Others Fail, and Stress and a Healthy Ticker, a psychological approach to preventing heart disease. She has been giving Hold Me Tight couples workshops for over 10 years at her private, beautiful nature retreat in Rancho Santa Fe, California. But there is much more to learn about Dr. Wisdom. And Diana, I would like to ask you to tell us more about yourself and your work.
Well, first of all, I've really enjoyed doing the Hold Me Tight workshops. I miss doing them since we're in COVID times right now. And you both have been such wonderful parts of those Hold Me Tight workshops where you've driven down from Los Angeles with these big, beautiful hearts of yours and joined us and sat, helped every step of the way all weekend long, bringing all your enthusiasm for EFT and getting to see the two of you apply your talent to working with the couples has been really special. So I've missed you guys and it's nice to see you. So that's a little bit, we've been doing Hold Me Tights and both of you have joined me, which has really been fun. And so I don't know what else to share with you at the moment other than our work seems more important than ever before right now. So
Definitely.
It's an honor to be able to try to contribute something to society with our EFT skills.
Right. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got interested in emotionally focused therapy?
Yeah, so I had been a psychologist for about 17 years, and I got married for the first time late in life at 40. And my one and only, he was 50 and I was 40. And the first year we were bickering and stuff. And actually, if I back up a moment, it wasn't because of that. I was working with couples, and a colleague of mine gave me Dr. Johnson's book, Hold Me Tight, to read. Thought I would enjoy it for my work with couples. That's how I got exposed to EFT. It just so happened to be in that first year of marriage. And then I went to a 4-day externship because I loved the book where I learned more about EFT, and Sue Johnson taught that externship. And the whole weekend I kept calling my husband on the phone saying, I understand now what our fights are about, and I was in tears all weekend, so excited. And he just was very patient. Oh, that's really good, honey. But that's how I learned about it and started using it in my own relationship. And never looked back.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful. And, you talked about your Hold Me Tight workshops, and we were really honored to be there, and we became part of a family in your workshop. We really enjoyed it. I would like to know more about EFT and how it changed your work and what you're doing as a psychologist.
Well, it really has been life-changing for my identity, even as a psychologist, and my work, because it gives us a map. I've never really, until EFT, had a map for my work with couples that was so clear. As you guys both know, that it's based on attachment theory and the idea that we need this safe, secure connection with other people, in particular, that we thought our brains outgrew the need that a baby and a mother have for that bond, but we actually transferred. Our brains don't outgrow it, and we transfer it to our partner. And so it's part of our evolution as social beings that we need this very safe and secure bond. And so EFT helps us understand it's based on neuroscience. We know what happens in the brain when we are in good relationships and when we're not. And I could go on and on and on, because it's, as you know, it's what we talk about in the Hold Me Tight work. So when I'm with my couples, I have a very specific, very concrete map that I'm following and I'm sharing with them. So I know exactly where we are on that map and where we need to go. And I help them know. And we all kind of have a plan together, especially as the couple grows and they get a sense of what the work is, learning to reset and change their experience together and how they speak to each other about difficult topics and vulnerable feelings, and having the experience in the therapy that transforms their sense of connection and safety with each other. And then learning how to do that at home is really the EFT therapy in a nutshell. So it's wonderful to offer couples that are really confused and in a chaotic state or afraid about the lack of connection and being able to get along, to be able to offer them structure and a system, and one that's actually, even though it's not always easy to do, it's actually relatively simple when you get it. So it's a real gift to be able to participate in watching couples kind of rediscover themselves together.
Right, it's beautiful. Right. Diana, I'm wondering, what has been the most rewarding part of this work for you?
I think being able to be, for couples to trust me, because I think having a clear map that can make sense to people helps people trust us, and they can see the work. It starts to happen very quickly. So having the trust of couples and individuals, that they let me into their private world in such a vulnerable way that we actually fall in love in the work. I love my couples and weep with them when I'm watching them, because I get so moved. And so the connection with the couples and people that I work with, and watching them connect with each other with more open-heartedness, and watching them transform their relationships and create more of a stable foundation for them in their life and for their children, if they have children, I can't think of more rewarding work.
Yeah.
I know you know what I'm talking about, because I've seen you do it.
Right. Totally. Diana, you know that we participate into a lot of trainings, and I would like to know what trainings have been the most beneficial or enjoyable for you in this journey.
I think, I'm not sure that, does supervision count as training?
Yeah.
So I think for me personally, I learned the most, trying to think carefully here. I think that I learned the most in group supervision, and then my own private supervision. So watching colleagues show their work in a group supervision setting and listening to the supervisor give feedback about their work was very illuminating for me in a very organic way. And then I even had a great supervisor, Dr. Mark Kopp. I went to his group and had individual supervision with him. I feel very, very fortunate to have had him as a supervisor. And one time I had a difficult case. They were part of my certification process, and he had me put a bug in my ear, and we, with this couple's permission, we brought him into the room via computer, and he watched and he whispered. He told me things in my ear to try to get them into stage 2, to get them to speak to each other in this different way about their fear that I wasn't able to do And actually, he wasn't able to get them to do it either. And so we were able to write up in the supervision, in the certification tape, that I knew that I hadn't done it, and that this is why, and blah, blah, blah. Eventually they did do it. He did speak from his heart to his wife and say, I get scared when I withdraw from you, I'm scared. It was very hard. I'm scared you're going to leave me, he would say to her, that I'm never going to be enough for you. That was very hard for him to say from his heart. So anyway, I think that was the training that spoke to me the most, where it got more in my cells, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Mark is wonderful.
Yeah, we've been at core skills with Mark.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's really one of a kind. He's a really such an authentic, down to earth person, and really knows this material.
Right.
He helped me feel really safe and empowered me, and also was very concrete and specific about what I needed to learn all at the same time.
Right.
Very important.
Yeah, right.
So you just described a challenging aspect. I was just going to ask you, what have you found to be the most challenging part of learning emotionally focused therapy?
You know, it's funny because having taught Hold Me Tight workshops, when I first started teaching them, I was so fortunate. Rebecca Jorgensen took me under her wing, and I got to teach the first 2 with her. And at that stage, I didn't really, in all honesty, I don't think I really fully understood it. It took years to digest it. Because on the one hand, as I said earlier, it seems so simple, that we need this safe, secure connection, and the way we do it, the way we get it is this, you know, being accessible, responsive, engaged. Well, what does that mean? I couldn't even remember. It's kind of embarrassing, but I couldn't remember what ARE meant for the longest time. I was teaching, I'd have to look at my notes, because there's something that's just very deep about it that I don't know why it took a long time to sink in. And now it feels very organic. So I think the hardest part was taking the time to keep practicing and keep learning and trust the process, because it's really about helping the couple have a different process experience with each other. And the more you get a couple there and the more you experience that, the more alive the whole method becomes, because you see it in action. And you see, my couples work has just, when I used EFT, I also use some other modalities to enhance the EFT at times, but we're talking about EFT. The core foundation is this EFT with my couples. You just see it works. So just being patient and hanging in there, taking the time. I remember my husband kept saying, boy, you've been trying to get certified for the longest time. And I must admit, I'd say, well, I haven't been fully applying myself, right? Because I would learn and then I'd back up, and I'd learn some more and I'd back up. So I just think, for me anyway, it just took patience and time to digest it in a real way, in my own way.
That is exactly how I feel, you know. When my colleagues ask me, they're the ones who are not practicing EFT, they ask, how many years are you gonna take more trainings and more supervision? And I tell them that, you know, I have to feel it in my blood, and it has started to feel that, you know, it has become part of me, EFTs. That is what I was really seeking for, to feel it deep inside, because we really engage with couples emotionally.
Right.
And that is how it's very different with other modalities.
Right.
And Diana, I would like you to tell us about any advice that you have for therapists, you know, interested in EFT.
That don't know EFT, or just curious?
Interested in EFT and they want to pursue EFT. What kind of advice do you have for them?
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the energy and the time. it's really valuable information and gives you a tool set and a grounding as a clinician that's worth however much time and energy it takes to learn it.
Right. I agree. I agree. Is there any new support available today that you wish you had had back in the beginning of your EFT journey?
Well, this is what I'm actually, you could edit this out. I'm actually very engaged in learning other modalities at the moment that aren't EFT, that enhance the EFT. And so I haven't been as engaged in learning more about EFT right now. I kind of got certified and I keep reading about it. I'm ordering Sue's new book. I understand her new book is excellent. Actually, that's a new resource. But am I allowed to mention another modality?
I think so.
Sure. I mean, our focus is EFT, but of course, you know, you can talk about.
Well, but not to focus on this or even go into it, but I've been studying something called AEDP, which is actually is experiential like EFT, and I feel like it helps me deepen, which is, and maybe some other training in EFT would have helped me get there too, but it helps enhance my EFT. So I actually I use EFT with my couples purely. And then I've been looking for other skills and tools, like I use EMDR. Sometimes you incorporate that into couples work. So there's other healing modalities that can enhance it. There's just, but focusing on things that are research-based. But Sue's new book is supposed to be excellent. And I'm sure there's a lot more with the technological situation we're in, that people can access a lot of Zoom online training that wasn't available before. So that's a huge thing that people can take advantage of, staying home and having access to these trainings all over the world that you would have had to spend money and travel for before.
Definitely.
Awesome. And I guess we get to the end of our interview, close to the end. And the last question would be, how would you sum up EFT in just one sentence?
Wow. One sentence. Okay. Can it be a long sentence?
Yes, sure.
EFT is a short-term therapy model based on attachment theory and neuroscience that helps couples learn how to be with each other in a way that creates a deeper connection and a more lasting bond.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Said it all.
Thank you so much for inviting me to be on this wonderful endeavor that you've embarked upon. I think it's so great. I'm just so proud of both of you. Your passion and your industriousness. You're both such hard workers, and you're always willing to put yourselves out there to try to bring more healing to people. And I really appreciate that about both of you.
Thank you. It is always great to have you and see you. Please come back to our interviews in the future again.
I'd
Thank
love
you
to.
so much. It was wonderful to sit down and talk with you today.
You both too. Great being with you both. Take good care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.